In this video I'll melt some iron in my microwave and I'll cast 3 things. Regular viewers will know that I have a new table. I needed to drill a hole so I could set up my vacuum casting station. Unfortunately, or luckily, my day didn't go as planned. For the last half an hour I've been trying to remove this drill bit. The chuck has stuck. I watched different YouTube videos on tips how you can remove it, spraying with E40, tapping, using different tools. Nothing. I can't open it. The thing is, I don't have too many tools. Even my vise is broken. I just couldn't open it. The only thing I did is scratch it and bent it right here. I don't have a key for the drill, so I've been using this tool to open the chuck. One day I was drilling a hole in concrete and I didn't realize that my drill was set to spin the wrong way. I believe that caused the chuck to tighten. So in other words, this did not work anymore. I picked up 2 keys from my local Poundland or Dollar Tree type of store, where tools are hit or miss, but they're cheap. This one doesn't fit. This one is not the right size, but it was close to the correct size. But because it's made from aluminum, obviously it just got stripped and I can't open it. So I found the key on Thingiverse. It did break, but at least it was the right size. So I decided to cast it in iron. I set myself up for a little challenge. Could I possibly cast an iron key faster than ordering one online? The thing is, where I live, I get same day Amazon deliveries, depending what you order and at what time. Clock is ticking. I printed the key, but I cut off the handle in the slicer. That's because I wanted to use molds that I already had. So if I cut off the handle, I can fit it into this mold. So I measured the silicon carbide I'll need, and then I attached the key with some cheese wax to the table so it wouldn't move. And I added a little bit of sodium silicate. So today I'll be doing things differently. I'll be a bit more aggressive. I will not freeze the molds. Normally I freeze the molds, but since we're trying to do it quickly, I'll skip that step. Now, let's see. Okay, see? Not a problem this time. Sometimes when you don't freeze it, it can kind of fall apart, but this time it's perfect. Now I'll cure it by running my microwave in cycles, but not for too long. I'll start with 300 watts and I'll run it for 1 minute on. Oh, 300 watts, okay, maybe that's a bit too aggressive. Let's put 150. 1 minute on and 3 minutes off. Why not? I'll do it for half an hour and then I'll switch to full power, whatever. We'll see what happens. See you in half an hour. After a minute or so, I changed my mind and turned the microwave to 300 watts. After half an hour more or less, I wanted to check on the mold. It is warm and looking good, so I turned the microwave to full power and just kept running the same cycle. There's some plastic already dripping in the tray, so I'm gonna remove it and turn the mold upside down. Later on I noticed a weird smell. The Kapton tape was arcing and smoldering. I did speak about it in the microwave metal melting video. It's an issue that can happen if the Kapton tape is burned to a charcoal level. Because of arcing, the Kapton tape will heat up in that one point and it will keep heating up and smoldering. So it can lead to something like this. Even if you overheat the kiln and the tape kind of shrinks or dries up, it should not arc unless it's been in direct contact with a flame or the crucible, at least in my experience. But why was the Kapton tape burnt? Well, if you watched the last video where I made an iron benchy, you'll remember that I had an accident. I spilled some iron onto the table and burned the Kapton tape, and I totally forgot about it. I should have replaced the tape, but I didn't, so here's the result. Silicon carbide molds heat up on their own. They're basically a heating element. So you don't really need a kiln. I just use it because I have it. So instead of the kiln, I can just use one of my metal melting chambers and replace the crucible with the mold. The mold has been burned out. Time to melt some iron. As I said before, I like to preheat the iron with a blowtorch. It speeds up the process a lot. And just a note, please wear a respirator whenever you melt metal, handle ceramic fibers or silicon carbide. So I managed to do everything, including printing the key, in approximately 2.5 hours. Not bad. It came out pretty nice considering it was rushed. Sometimes the best projects are the ones that are spontaneous. And today is one of those projects. Even if it doesn't work, I will still share this video with you because I think it was pretty interesting project anyway. So, do I think it's gonna open the drill? I don't know, because maybe the chuck, it has just jammed and it's nothing to do with the key. I will see. Okay, so it does fit nicely. Let's use this wrench for now. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Oh! What did you... Awesome! Okay, enough with distractions. Let's make a bottle opener. I filled the spot where I joined two pieces together with some wax. Just like before, I measured some silicon carbide. It has not been grinded. And I added a bit of sodium silicate. A bit of cheese wax to prevent it from moving. This time I'll freeze the mold, not because I have to, but because the microwave was busy. Iron is actually one of my favorite metals to melt. It's very cheap and it casts beautifully. The bad side obviously is that it's not easy to melt it. You know, if you have an electrical furnace that a lot of people use, well, you probably won't be able to melt iron. So the price of this half kilo weight plate is $1.99. And I bought two. Just like before, I'm gonna run the microwave on low power, because if I go too fast, the mold can crack. And later on, I turn the power to 700 watts. I removed the molten plastic, turned the mold upside down, and kept running my microwave for approximately 1 hour. So the next morning, the mold has been burned out. It's still warm. I'll do the vacuum casting with my vacuum cleaner. I have video about it. And if you haven't guessed yet, this is just an ordinary kitchen foil. A few people have asked whether or not silicon carbide molds can be vacuum cast. And I didn't know the answer because yes, I have done it in the past, but I never really knew if vacuum did anything since those molds usually were simple, let's put it this way. Yesterday I did a little test with another mold and I can confirm that yes, vacuum does work. It depends what grit silicon carbide you use and probably how much water glass you use. I'm not sure if I'll be able to demonstrate it with this mold. It's quite tall, but let's see. Maybe we can. Let's try to do it with a balloon. So this is just a temporary solution. I will cast this in aluminum. I just wanted to make sure that I like it. And it seems like I do, so I'll cast it in some other video. I microwaved it for approximately 25 minutes. It's a 900 watt microwave and I've been using it for 4 years, or maybe even more. So I'm just heating up the silicon carbide mold with a blowtorch. That's the cool thing about it, it can take some heat. So this is the final result with minimal sanding. I'm very pleased the way it turned out. Oh yeah! Have you heard about Brilliant? If you like learning, then you love Brilliant. They have tons of fun and interactive lessons on topics like physics, chemistry, engineering, AI, programming, and more. Some of the things that came up the other day when I was using Brilliant are also useful if you do metal melting. For example, if you want to learn more about heat transfer or how energy interacts with different materials, Brilliant has engaging courses that break down these concepts step by step. What makes Brilliant awesome is that you don't just read or watch videos. You get to solve problems and puzzles, so you learn by doing. Obviously, you can use Brilliant on the phone. That's the way I like to do it, because you can replace some of that scrolling with learning, even if it's a few minutes a day. I'm sure you have heard the saying, "How do you eat an elephant?" It's the question my boss asked me many years ago when I was struggling with some tasks. One bite at a time. By learning a little bit every day, you can make a massive progress over a long run and build powerful learning habits. To try Brilliant free for 30 days, visit brilliant.org/shakethefuture. Alternatively, you can scan the QR code or use the link in the description. You will also get 20% off an annual premium subscription.